described side by side to such respected companies as we can see here today is a moment of extreme importance that moves and stimulates all our employees, directly and indirectly involved in the process. Our presentation consists on the haulage of a hydropower plant rotor from Araraquara to Santos Port. A hydropower plant rotor like that was never seen before, and it was just possible to be manufactured because we are capable to transport it in Brazil. A power plant in Brazil means much more than just a business. It means bringing electricity and dignity to millions of Brazilians. The logistics process was the biggest challenge and the biggest concern of our client, but he was 100% confident because he knew that in Brazil we are able to make it happen. To meet all the project and safety requirements, we worked for more than a year before to assure the geometrical and structural feasibility of the transport. The operation was divided into 4 stages. The transport from the factory in Araraquara City to Santos Port, the vessel maritime transport between Santos Port and Vila do Conde Port, northern of Brazil. The transshipment by the subcontracted carried vessel to a barge and the river transport from Vila do Conde Port to the job site jetty, and the loadout by client's overhead crane and road transport about 8 miles between the jetty and the job site. The focus of our presentation is the road transport from Araraquara to Santos. Because of all the difficulties due to the weight and dimensions of the rotor, as well as the obstacles, works, deviations executed in the 372 miles traveled in its first part of operations. Now we are going to present you an introductory video, and after that I will be back with more details of the operation, the challenges, and the solutions implemented by Transdata.
Manufactured in the world belongs to Belmonte Hydroelectric Plant, which is being built in Amazon on the Xingu River. A USD 11 billion plant, one of the greatest challenges for engineering, environmental management, and construction logistics. Everything in this construction project is impressive. In installed capacity, Belmonte will be the 4th largest dam in the world. Its guaranteed power output is enough to serve 60 million people in current patterns of energy consumption in Brazil. Hauling the giant rotor from Araraquara to Santos Port was the critical part of all mobility towards Belmonte. And studies were required to Transdata's in-house engineering and management crews to establish the suitable route, specialized equipment and configuration, overweight permits, removal of obstructions, minimizing public inconveniences, and ensuring safe delivery. Three 750 horsepower prime movers, 2 sets of 18-axle line, and a specially adapted girder bridge composed at 354 feet long, weighed in at 744 short tons transporter, set traveling across the state of Sao Paulo through an alternative route of 372 miles, working closely with 7 utility concessionaires to optimize the transit, synchronizing more than 60 expert people to overcome the challenges.
So, as I said earlier, if you will check the video, we worked for more than 1 year before starting the operation itself. First, our technicians and engineers traveled all the way to seek the shortest route possible, with less need for adjustments and in order to cause minimum disruption to the civilians. After identifying and defining the path, several other actions were needed, such as technical meetings in order to present and get the approval of all the 7 existing utilities concessionary on the route. Because down there in Brazil, we have a concession model where the private sector manages some roads. So in this case, in addition to the public special permits, we also needed to present and convince each of those utilities concessionaires about the viability of the transport. Also, organize and schedule the removal of all traffic signs. Pre-schedule of all the transit points in the roadway due to the height limitations. Detailed study of all the transitions by the two roofs. Detailed studies of all the structural reinforcements needed on bridges and viaducts, as well as the transitions through the tunnels. Planning in advance the downhill track. Study and schedule in advance the urban crossing in Santo City, one of the largest cities in Brazil, in order to minimize the impact on civilians. The rotor itself measures 29 feet of diameter per 17 feet of height, and its weight was of 316 metric tons. It's about 696,000 pounds. This is an example of the existing walkways on the path, which were height limitations factors in the best route found by our technical staff. It guided Transdata to the necessary adjustments in their given route in order to overcome these restrictions. Here are the details of the extensions and strengthening of the booster necessary because of the piece weight. This change, designed and manufactured in-house by Transdata, allowed us to transport the rotor guaranteeing the maximum safety without any deformation of the girder beam and providing the correct distribution of weight per axle. We also performed the modification of the regional booster supports, so we reduced the final height, being able to pass under all the catwalks and the viaducts all over the itinerary. The longitudinal reinforcement was performed in order to increase the bearing capacity of the girder beam, which was limited to 300 metric tons and became qualified up to 350 metric tons, already considering a 20% safety margin. Our engineering department also performed the analysis of all finite elements to ensure the support beam capacity when the dynamic forces during the transportation. Here is an example of the transpositions that we did in the 92 roofs along the path. Operations were very well planned and studied with quick removals and replacements of all the obstacles in order to avoid traffic impacts at those places. This is the bridge over the Binnings Dam, which was considered not able to receive such a heavy convoy by the concessionary. If this bridge were actually doomed, we would have to use an alternative route through São Paulo City, which is the largest city in the south hemisphere, with about 22 million people in its metropolitan area. So it would cause a huge disturbance to the community, apart from the considerable increase of transit time and costs regarding to the adjustments which would be necessary in this other path. So Transdata staff and engineering once more went to the field in order to solve this matter. With a detailed and rigorous structural study, we concluded and convinced the concessionary and the public authorities that the bridge was able to receive our convoy, considering the weight distribution done by our modified booster. So, after crossing the Binnings Dam, we reached the beginning of the mountain range road. The difficulty of this stage was the fact that there is no stopping points along the road. There were no room for mistakes. The transportation should be done in no more than 1 night, and we did it. Our team completed the course with privacy in a single night, crossing all the 11 tight tunnels and covering the 12 miles in about 5 hours. Last but not least, there was still one mistake. The urban crossing in Central City. All geometric studies have already been made to overpass one of the oldest and biggest cities in Brazil, as well as the contacts and schedules with local authorities. After going down the hill, we arrived at the entrance of the city, and everything was already settled with the municipal traffic company and all others involved, allowing us to perform this last step without any trouble. We started the transportation on October 4 and delivered the cargo at Santos Port on November 5, performing the job in 31 calendar days, and the prediction was for 75 days. It is important to emphasize the optimization of resources and transit time and the satisfaction of our client in the end of the operations. We had 0 incidents, accidents, injuries, or losses during the operation. The credits must go to all Transdata's team that was involved and performed with commitment and the dedication to their activities. We believe that the success formula must involve qualified people, modern equipment, planning, creativity, and some passion too. Thank you all, and please let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you very much for your presentation.